there's something very elemental, even in the electricity. I know this is a strange way to put it. There's something very elemental about that transference back and forth. I mean, radio is electricity, it's engineering, it's on a wavelength.
Right.
When people are on the same wavelength with you, or at least trying to match with you, that is art, and it's science, and it's magic.
Hey, what's going on? It's another episode of the Joe Till podcast. And the first thing I want to do is shout out my sponsors, Benchmark and Cafe Lucille's. They're great people. They support us. We support them. And I'm so happy that they helped me have this room and put this show on. Today, I have a great guest, Fabienne Thrash. What's going on?
Well, hey, Joe Till. I haven't seen you in forever, and this is a great way to catch up.
Right. Yeah, I remember seeing you as a kid when I was a kid. And your daughter,
Gracie was a kid.
Gracie was a kid, and so I've known you've been on the radio for a long time. I've heard you a trillion times because my dad in the work trucks, it was nothing but K-Pig in the work truck.
Oh, thank you. Well, tell him I'm back.
Yeah,
tell him I'm back.
I heard that. I heard you're back. So I want to get into all that today. That we'll talk about the radio. We'll talk about music. We could talk about the history. I've been told you got the keys to the Texarkana history. Somewhat, yeah. I had Matthew Solomon on.
Did you?
And that was a good one because he really knows the Texarkana history, and that blew my mind. I was not ready for all that. It was cool.
Oh, good.
But we started like early 1800s, and we got all the way into the 1900s, and that's kind of where he's like super good at. But anyways, history, it was cool. But today I've got you on, and that's how crazy my mind works. But let's get into it. How did you get into the radio scene?
How did I get into radio? Well, I had my mother, Mert Thrash. She was the librarian in Ashdown, but she also, after my father died when I was 6, she had bouts with insomnia. So she'd sit up all night and read. I don't know how she went to work at the library, but she did. And she'd sit up all night and read, and she would listen to Ralph Emery on WSM out in Nashville, Tennessee. And Ralph was real good about having guests. First time I ever heard Willie Nelson was on Ralph Emery's show. Playing a guitar, just, with the little slick hair and everything everybody had, the little nudie suit. No, there he was. Marty Robbins, who I don't know if you know who that is or not, but big Western singer, race car driver, the guy that would close down the Grand Ole Opry on Saturday nights. And when I mean close down, they'd sometimes get out of there at 1 o'clock. He was the only artist they allowed to do that. Okay. Wow. Before censor ever, it was Marty. So he'd be in there, and I'd hear this stuff, and my mother is on the phone. I'm like, what is going on with this? Well, she was busy talking to Ralph Emery when he wasn't talking to these people because he liked to read. And they were talking about books you should read, this, that, and the other. And these artists, well, I'd hear them playing and singing, and I'd get up and I want to talk to so-and-so, kid. I want to talk to so-and-so. I spoke to Marty. I spoke to Willie Nelson, and of course, all the things. Yes, yes. Or they would play a song for me, or tell me, "All right, you got to go to bed now. Okay, go back to bed. It's school day. You got to go."
Wow, Willie Nelson told you to go back to bed.
Yeah, cool. Marty. Yeah, is that just awesome. Crazy?
Yeah, that's cool.
But I think that pretty much set me on the path right there. It was powerful.
Yeah. So that's an early influence. How long till you decided, okay, I want to try to go get a job at like the radio station?
Well, I was about 14 or 15.
Really?
When KMLA landed right there in Ashdown, 1972. Wow. Okay. Wow. I thought, this is great. Maybe I can. I bothered them to death out there. How does this work? I'd go in. How does that work? Just kid, about 14 years old, shouldn't even be driving the car. But my mother told me, all right, you can drive to the edge of town, which radio station was there, but you got to drive right back. Wow. Okay. And I'd go ask questions. And finally, Steve Pierce, who was the general manager of the station, and I thought he was an old guy. He wasn't even 10 years older than I was, really. But to me, he was an old guy. So, so he put together a scout troop, Explorer Scouts. Right. Now, that was co-ed back in the day. He had post 1039.
1039.
You heard that one, haven't you? Yeah. I've had a lot to do with 1039 in my time. So he put together a post, and there was a bunch of guys and me.
Just you.
just the only female that was really interested. Well, the guys are all playing football, hunting season, or basketball, or things. They would come and kind of help and do and this, that, and the other. But a lot of times when it was their turn to record the Saturday morning show that we did, we had an hour show. Woohoo! It was a big deal. They was like, oh, I got this test tomorrow, or I've got a ball game. Can you go do it this week? Well, I ended up doing it nearly every week. So Steve saw that and he says, you need to get your license. Back at that day, you had to have a third class radio telephone communications license. Okay.
Oh, wow. To be on the radio.
Yeah. At that time, yes, you had to be an operator. You you understood broadcast law. You understood how to read all the equipment so you could read that, because the FCC requires you to be able, or used to be able to have to do that. And you would take meter readings every 3 hours. You had to do things. As the tower light on, all this, you had to know this stuff. Well, not a mathematician particularly, not at all. In fact, I don't math well. I really don't. But I managed to kind of put my nose to the grindstone and work it out where I actually passed the test.
Wow.
Wasn't even prepared. Just God has a plan and a sense of humor. I will tell you that. He does. So from about age 15, 16 on, I was on the air.
Wow. Do you know when they changed that?
1995? Yeah.
I was born in 94.
See, well, yeah, the laws changed, the rules changed, and a lot of deregulation in broadcasting and in radio in the U.S.
Like anybody can be on the radio now, huh?
Pretty much.
Are there any requirements to be on the radio now, or they just hire you? You can do it.
Just hire you if you look good, sound good, whatever.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But back then you really had to earn it.
So you taught me something. Yeah, I didn't know that there
really had to earn it.
Wow.
And I did. I don't know how, but I did.
Do you think that made it mean more to you?
Yes. Because, boy, you feel accomplished when you've overcome something that you don't do well.
Right.
Like I said, I'm terrible at math. But I managed to do that. I managed to make those little figures work. And I did the algebra for it. I mean, I suck at algebra. Come on. Geometry I could do, but algebra, woo. So you could do from the direct method, is what they called, of reading all those meters.
That's crazy.
So I did it.
Isn't it wild that it's like stuff like this now? It's like a little board.
Isn't that gorgeous? That's a nice little board, too.
Oh, yeah. I love this thing. Yeah, it's great. It's I don't know, technology as it progresses. That's one of the reasons why I got out of like the studio business I was in.
Yeah.
Because I think people are going to be making songs on their phones before long. I don't think you'll need the big recording studio. I'm starting to see it more and more where people are doing like tons of recording. You can use your phone. You can record instruments.
Yes.
You can do your voice. You can mix. They got presets. It's like I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what technology does to a lot of these industries. What was like the biggest change technology-wise that happened while you were there with the radio?
Oh, gosh. Now you're talking 53 years. Right. A lot of it. There's a lot of it. Well, we had everything from cart machines to records, vinyl,
So you were playing vinyl records that were playing on the radio.
45s. Yeah. You've seen 45s, of course. Played 45s, played albums, played when I was in KWKH in Shreveport. We had older turntables that were taken very good care of. That if you could find a 78 back there in the library, and we had a pretty extensive library, you could put on a 78 and it's like, whoa, because that wasn't my technology at all.
That's crazy. So it would seem like if you owned a radio shop, you would have to part of owning the radio shop would mean that you would have to go out and buy all the records, right?
Yeah.
Or is that how that works?
No.
Or how do the radio stations get the records?
Oh, that's pretty easy. The record companies send you.
Oh,
the
they want you to play it.
They want you to play it. The more spins, the
that
better. They sell more. The artist does better. They go on tour. It's quite an industry. It's a big industry.
That makes sense.
The other, is that bug driving you nuts there, Renfield? All right. I'm kidding. But the other, of course, is moving from analog to digital. That's huge.
Right.
That's huge. The sounds are different. The way you make the sounds are different. Ringo Starr, somebody asked Ringo, drummer of the Beatles, of course, asked him, do you prefer analog or do you like digital? He says, actually, I prefer analog. They said, well, why? He says, because it's more earthy. He says, it nothing else sounds or feels like it. He says, sometimes digital is a little cold and distant. But right. He said he liked the little tiny pops and cracks, and he says that made it genuine to him. And well, he ought to know they were recording Beatles albums on a little board about like that.
Wow.
If you think about it. I mean, it was 4 tracks.
It had like what do they call it?
Oh, tape.
Tape, yeah.
Absolutely. Masters. Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy. I started in 2015 messing with music, digital from the jump. I got good at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have no idea how to work tape. I don't even have the slightest clue.
Oh, I know how to make commercials with a block and tape and a razor blade. That used to be a real art.
Wow.
In my profession, you would do your edits or do your bits or do any kind of intros or anything like that. You take tape and you edit it on that block, slice it like that. You tape it one piece to the other. You edit out this, that. It was
so you manually.
Oh yes,
yeah, that's so crazy.
Yeah. It's not like Adobe Audition or anything even close to that.
Right.
You physically did that, and if you were a blader, everybody knew you were good at the art of doing edits on tape.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
No, I missed that whole deal.
You would love that actually, because it's kind of technical.
Yeah, that would be cool. I would like that kind of to like. Maybe I should try to do a song with tape. But I wonder, that's probably expensive to get something to.
Would be now.
Tape. Yeah, probably would be now.
Would be now.
I could take a whole band and just with a couple microphones and one interface, and just get the whole thing and do all the editing top to bottom in the program.
It would be fun.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Digital was crazy because the whole time I was doing it, I was like, this feels like a cheat code. It feels like I'm cheating because
well, it kind of is if you've done it the other way.
Right. Oh yeah.
And you're like, really? This is all this is? Like the Peggy Lee song. Is that all there is? Well, let's keep dancing. I'll go with it if you will.
Was it tough? What was the transition like from analog to digital? Like while you were, I mean, I imagine that happened while you were working.
Oh yeah.
So like one day, was it just different or did it take time?
It takes time.
Right.
Radio stations, particularly smaller market stations, well, they don't have the kind of money normally to spend thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars to just redo everything in a week, because it'd take about a week or longer than that to move to completely digital from the analog. Okay. So the older engineers, God bless engineers, I've known many a very good one, and because they understood it, they liked engineering, they got it, and they got what we were doing. So they would have to try to marry analog with digital all at the same time.
Yeah.
This will work with this, but you're going to have to reroute it to that. It's unreal. But they did it. I was really amazed at some of the people that made it work.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it. You gotta. It's like the people that make it are the ones that are able to adapt.
Yes.
And so I can see that the people that and you just gotta love it. This seems like a passion type deal, right?
It is for me.
How when you start mixing money and passion, it seems that can be difficult. Did you ever have any problems with that, or Or, like, it's almost like if you get paid to be creative, like, is it harder to be creative sometimes? Like, can you force creativity? Did you ever go through anything like that or get burnt out on it?
Every once in a while, but really I stuck with it. Bob Dylan once said, and said so well, somebody interviewed him and said, well, why aren't you singing all the songs and writing more songs about poverty and death and war and all those things that really made you famous? He says, well, I make a lot of money. I'm doing all right. I live real well. When you aren't feeling any of those things, it's hard to write about them.
Oh, I imagine.
And that was it. That really explained the Adam for me. Like, okay, he's moved on and he knows it, so he's going to do something else.
Right. That's interesting. Yeah. Art is interesting. Where do you think our creativity comes from?
I think it's a gift from God. I think that he kind of loads it up in you and says, let's see what you do with that.
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah. That's an interesting thought. I think, I don't know. There's people that are more creative than others, obviously. And it's like, I don't know, they always just seem to be like what maybe like regular people would say, like, oh, they're a little different, but it's like, I love it. I love it. I feel like when I'm creating stuff and when I'm doing stuff like this or music or whatever it is, it's just like, that's when I feel like I'm in the pocket. Is that how the radio feels?
It does. When you're having a good day and you're on the air and you're feeling it, and sometimes you get feedback and sometimes you don't from other people, but mostly you do, or they want to hear a particular song or just something. There's something very elemental, even in the electricity. I know this is a strange way to put it. There's something very elemental about that transference back and forth. I mean, radio is electricity, it's engineering, it's on a wavelength.
Right.
When people are on the same wavelength with you, or at least trying to match with you, that is art, and it's science, and it's magic.
I agree.
It really is. And if you accomplish that, boy, you've had a good day.
I think it seems like you love what you do, and I think that's super important.
I do.
That, like, the cliche thing, like, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day. A lot of people would be like, yeah, but I think
it's the truth.
It's possible. Yeah, if you really love what you do, I mean, I love this. I'm ready for this to be my job.
Well, I think you're doing pretty darn good with it, kiddo. Yeah. I really do. I'm real proud of you, and I'm just thinking how proud your mother, Carolyn, would be of you, because I sure am.
Yeah. I miss her. She was a great woman.
She sure was. She was a good friend. She sure was. And that's not the reason I'm here. He just thinks I'm an interesting person. So there you go.
As you get older and as people have been passed away longer, you run into less and less people that, knew them, and so
that's right.
It is almost kind of sad. Sometimes it's like, I'll tell a story about her and it's like there's only a handful of people left that have stories to tell me back. And that is sad. But, but I think when we get sad about people that have passed, it's like, it's almost, in a way, it's good, because it's like they are so important to us, we can't forget them. We have to feel that sadness. We have to hear that story that maybe it does whatever it does to us, but that's our brain telling us, like, no, you can't forget that person. What do you think about that?
Well, I know that's exactly right. We're not supposed to forget them. They wouldn't have meant very much to us if we had forgotten them.
Right.
Okay, but there's, like we were talking about earlier, sometimes it can be a smell, a sight,
right,
a sound, something minuscule, something, just the smallest thing will trigger a memory, a huge memory, and then you replay that in your head. And you remember it really well, and you can't believe you're remembering it that well, but you are. And that's part of the grief process too. Grief just is. Grief continues till the end of your days. And then I guess we pass that grief on to somebody else.
Yeah, the people that love us.
But that's a part of love too.
What do you think? I know this is just I go to left field all the time. What do you think we're here for? What do you think we're here on this earth for?
To fulfill God's promises, People are going, oh, is she going to preach? No, but I do believe in God. I am a believer. I believe he put us here for a purpose. He has jobs for us. This may well be your job other than working for your dad or whatever, This may well be your job.
I would love that.
I know, and I want you to do it. I really do. I'll be your biggest supporter in that, okay?
And now a quick shout out to one of our sponsors, Cafe Lucille. It's located on Main Street in downtown Texarkana, Texas. And I personally recommend the Downtowner or the biscuits and gravy, or my personal favorite, the Cajun potato soup that's got alligator in it. And I love anything that's got alligator in it. I promise. Those are great people down there. Go check them out. They support us. We support them. Now back to the show.
When you find that niche, when you find that place, and you know what it feels like now. It's like this. You just go, yes, this, right? I knew it early. I knew radio. That was it. Yeah. Some of my teachers, educators, one or two says, you want to be a radio announcer? You're smart. You could be a journalist. You could do this. You could teach. You could do that. I thought, well, I could.
Right.
I could. And I'd probably be pretty good at it, but I really know I am meant for this. That's when you and God are communicating. It's like, yep, you get it.
Right.
He tells you, yep, you get it. Keep at it. I'll take care of you for the most part. And you're going to walk into some stuff. You're going to make some mistakes. You're going to get hurt sometimes, but you're here to learn.
What was the hardest lesson you learned at the radio?
Well, sometimes radio doesn't love you back. That's the hard one.
Yeah. Sometimes.
And that can be through people or situations or something of my own that I injected into something. I'm not faultless. Nobody is.
Right.
I'll hold up my end of the thing, but sometimes what you love doesn't always love you back.
That is true.
Yeah.
What about for as long as I can remember, I've heard your voice on K-Pig. When did that come about? When did you end up there at 103.9?
Well, I started at 103.9 if you think about it.
Okay, so it never changed. It just
no.
It was okay, yeah, my bad. You say it.
I started there.
Right.
And then I came here to, I went across the bridge, came over here to work for Caddo Country, KADO, downtown, AM 940. I did a split shift, did an early morning shift and go rest and then come back and do the closed shift at the end of the day. Wow. Daytime radio station, okay? And then during disco era, things got really busy next door on KD, the other KADO, and it came Studio 107, and I did a little bit over there too. Man, we rocked. In fact, my friend Dorian Cox managed to get,
That sounds super familiar.
He managed to get a sticker, a Studio 107 sticker, to the people who produced the TV show WKRP in Cincinnati. And when you looked on the walls there at Andy's office, all these stickers, you could see that Studio 107 sticker.
Wow.
Yeah, they put it up there. So it's like, hey, there it is. But mostly, I've done like country music and because hey, I sound country, and that's okay.
How important is the radio voice?
Oh, for some, yeah. You must sound like this, or you must sound like this, or you must sound like you have no accent at all, But I still have one. I slide right back into it. I'm just me.
Right.
I'm just me. You either like me or you don't. That's what they're the knobs for. Change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you turn the accent up harder for the country station?
No.
Just
tried
regular?
not to. I tried to. I mean, I worked hard when I was at KWKH, the most country outlet in the world, 100,000 water, which was non-directional that you could hear down in Mexico all the way up through Canada.
Wow.
The saying was at night, 38 states and 4 foreign countries. True. It was true. And I would work trucker radio sometimes overnight, filling in for Larry Scott or Barney Cannon, whatever. Work at night. Everybody could hear you. That was a real rush. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I like that. So I would just try to be myself as much as I could. I learned to say W real well. W. I can say, I don't say W.
W. Yeah, because I might say W.
but I say W.
W.
That's probably the one thing I got out of it. And if any radio friends are listening and know me a long time, they're rolling on the floor laughing themselves silly. Because, yeah,
I might slip in a little W.
W.
A little W.
KW, KH. Oh, Lord, no.
What do you think? What do you think is the future of radio with all the technology and all the podcasts and streaming and all the different ways? What do you think is the future for radio?
Well, people would like to say we're a dying industry. We may be losing some, but I think we're going to gain more. First of all, nobody in New York City is going to tell us there is a tornado imminent coming down State Line Avenue. You need to take cover now. It's going to be a local announcer.
Right.
Local radio matters. Yeah. We need to keep our local radio. And I think that will possibly go back to more localization because big companies, I have nothing against big companies. You do you, but when it comes to my town and so forth, our people matter. Yeah. Our situations matter. Why are you doing a podcast? Because you think local people matter.
Right, for sure.
Okay, so you're actually carrying out what I believe is going to revert to type back to radio. If not, there will be no radio.
Right. I did not think about that. Yeah. That's the radio station is going to tell you if there's a wreck or if there's a imminent threat or something from over here, something. Yeah. It won't be my podcast people that I listen to every day. They're not going to tell me that.
No, but you'll be looking for a radio if you see a funnel.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
Or you hear a huge boom, you're going to be finding somebody,
right?
Something, instead of getting on Facebook and going, did you hear that big boom? What was that? I don't know. ... What? So, there'll be some of that. But if you want more immediacy and the answer, that's where you'll find it. Yeah. Local radio matters.
Yeah. How much of the, I see like lots of, like when I listen to the radio, I hear shows, like big shows from like all over the place on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. So how many, like, I don't know, I don't know what I'm trying to ask.
Uniform, come on.
Yeah, I'm like, does that take away from like spots that could be filled with local people, or is that just the game where you fill in the spots with like famous people? I guess that's what I'm trying to get to.
All depends on what you're trying to do. It helps to have local people. They're your anchors. Like watching television news. Right. David Muir, ABC, he's an anchor, and he's really proved it during our troubles this past week in Texas during the floods. He's been an empathetic person. You relate to him because he relates to those people.
Yeah, that was so sad.
Yeah. It is, and God bless every one of them. I have just been gut wrenched about that. But, I didn't mean to get off in that rabbit hole, but I get in them too. But yeah, as far as his empathy and relatability, that's really what I've kind of always done or attempted to do myself. Not be just something, like across the wall over here and, hey,
I'm at the radio. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No. It's, you reach out a little bit and you'll get reached out back. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
That's exactly that's my whole motive. That's my MO. That's what needs to happen. That's what I'm used to.
I agree. I think people are more connected than we give ourselves. Like, I think, I don't know, in a weird way, I think humans are more connected than like what we typically think. What do you think?
I do. I think we are. Sometimes we may be too trusting. I can be, unfortunately. Yeah. I may be too trusting. I'm getting better. But I think we're organically supposed to meet somewhere in the middle.
Right.
I believe in that. And it's odd that an electric signal, can help put that together because it's so fast. You know, it's immediate.
Everything's so fast now. It's crazy, isn't it?
It is, Yeah, very much so.
Everything is just so immediate. Everything.
And we expect it. We desire we desire it, we expect it, we demand it.
I tell you what the worst thing is now, and that's how I know I've got spoiled to how things are now. Like the two major things that can affect my household is if the Wi-Fi goes out or if or the electricity goes out.
Yep.
And I'm just like, am I a caveman? What's happening here? I'm so used to it. I'm like, what do you mean I can't watch exactly what show I want to watch and all that stuff? Like, I don't know. There's something to that where we've kind of just gotten used to technology and it's only going to get worse. Do you look into any of like the AI stuff?
Well, I've looked at it. I've kind of played with it a little bit, playing with your pictures and stuff. You can do that kind of stuff on Facebook. No, it makes you look so pretty and all that kind of thing. Yeah, but AI gets it wrong too sometimes. It's only feeding back what you tell it.
Right.
Remember, it's zeros and ones.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder what they'll do. I wonder what it'll do to radio. I wonder how they'll use it in radio.
Okay, well, writing commercials.
Right.
Writing copy. Voicing those commercials.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was wondering if you thought that there was ever the danger of, and I would say it would be the danger because I don't think that's something that we would want, but where, let's say you own a radio station and you would say, we could just use AI for the anchors.
That's exactly the thoughts of a lot of folks.
Right. And
that's why there have been major changes. People let go and different things like that, the workforce has been shrunken to very little because you can make more money that way.
Right.
You don't have to pay AI. You don't have to pay that.
And now a quick shout out to one of our sponsors, Benchmark, here in Texarkana, Texas. Dude, these people need your business just off the names of the food. The Love Street Chicken. They got an appetizer called Pain in a Basket. But my personal recommendation is that you get the scallops and the grits. I'm going to read this for you. I know this is an ad, but I'm going to read this for you. Seared scallops over alligator and pork sausage. Y'all know I love alligator. Sauteed with garlic and herbs on a bed of baby spinach and dirty duck grits. This is a fancy place to go. This is where you take your girl. This is where you dress up nice and y'all go out and do something beautiful. Shout out to them. They're great people. We support them. They support us. Now back to the show. I think our world is going to feel a shock from AI as it gets better and better because I don't think they're going to slow down. I'm super tapped into it. This is one rabbit hole that I stay down just consistently, and it's a scary one. It's because the military has need for it.
Yes.
And we have these like adversaries across the world that aren't going to slow down either. And so I think it has become almost like an arms race in the same sense of like even like nukes or, how everybody was racing to make the first bomb or this or that. And this is what this is. And they won't slow down because like we say, okay, well, we should regulate it and we should be safe about it. And then, but then they say, well, hell, China's not going to be regulated or safe about it.
No.
And so progress goes on.
Right.
And I'm afraid for it. But regardless, even if because then you have the doomsday people with AI and I'm not necessarily there. But what I do think will happen to bring it all back is that I do think that there's going to be this shock of when AI starts doing like lots of jobs.
Yes.
And then we're all going to be looking at each other like, what do we do now?
Yeah. Well, it's somewhere between the Jetsons and the movie 2001.
Right.
Open the bay doors, Hal, do that.
I think it's interesting. Oh man, what would we do? These are just like as the interviews get longer, I always just start getting wilder and wilder. But that's just kind of what the show is.
That's okay. You do you.
What would we do? Like, how do you think society would function if AI did most of the jobs?
Well, let's go back to the pandemic. Think of what with all the isolation and so forth. People weren't going very many places. They were pretty much cloistered at home and so forth. Well, imagine what AI could have done even then to teach school, to educate. Of course, you had educators on Skype or whatever. You went to class that way if you were a child. You had your business meetings. We still do business meetings that way.
Right.
I would have some concerns. I really kind of do.
I wonder about people that have worked in something your whole, like let's say radio, or let's say something that let's say they make a robot that puts septic tanks in. Like, it's not beyond, I mean, that's probably further out, but still, it's like if you have all this pride in what you do and all this passion in what you love, and then all of a sudden one day it's just like, oh, well, they have something for that. I wonder if it would be like this big negative thing, or I think that's like the two options. Either it would like destroy society, or we would all realize, or we all, maybe they work up some way, because then it's like, well, how does money work if nobody works? And they just see the rabbit. I'm in a rabbit hole. Anyway.
No, I hear where you're going with this. It could go either one of two ways.
Yeah.
I mean,
and people could find, like, they could say, okay, well, I can just go do whatever I want, and that could be cool. Yeah, so it's like doomsday or like super cool. I don't know what.
I think people adapt.
Right.
That's the actual option.
Mm-hmm.
People will adapt to whatever you throw at them.
Right.
I mean, they've had to before. You've had cavemen. Hey, they figured out fire, and let's use spear. Whatever, and then they could start cooking that meat on the fire and so forth. And they figured out habitats and making little homes, or not just in caves. And
imagine the first caveman with a house.
I know. Don't you know that was a trip? Don't you know?
He had to just feel better than everybody. Like, I have a house. You're in a cave.
Right. I have a house. Yeah. And what did he say about that? I bet he strutted big time.
Yeah.
Don't know if it's so much Flintstones. I like my cartoons.
I love Flintstones, Jetsons, all that stuff. We watched the Flintstones the other day. Me and my buddy did, and we were like, "Dude, this is so good!" Like, because I haven't seen this since I was a kid. I was like, "Yeah, this is good."
It is good. Of course, it was all based on the Honeymooners. Jackie Gleason.
Oh yeah, the Honeymooners. My dad used to make me watch that.
Oh, did you like the Honeymooners?
Oh, I love
it. It was so talented.
Hilarious. Yeah.
And
what was the friend's name? He was Barney was supposed to be like him.
Was it Bert? I forget. I'm sorry.
I can't. I had to look it up. But it's so similar. Yeah, it's super similar. I've been I've been watching Andy Griffith every night. I love Andy Griffith so much.
That is a way to kind of decompress. It's a great way.
And it's like good, wholesome TV. It's like you can't really find Andy Griffith in 2025.
Oh no,
it's not that.
Yeah, he's there. He's there on all these little Me TVs and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. You can find him.
Well, I'm talking about like a new show.
A new show. I wish
that has the same type of that. It's just that whole. It's gone.
It is gone.
I like
You're right.
Gilligan's Island. I love Gilligan's Island. I really like Columbo, Andy Griffith, Sanford and Son. I've been on a kick for all that stuff. That's all awesome. Stuff my dad used to make me watch with him, but
well, that's all right. It hadn't hurt you. In fact, no. It made you wish for better days, I think.
Yeah.
And they were kind of better days to us. At least we thought so.
Yeah, I was watching. There was some lesson Andy was teaching Opie the other day, and I was like, "Dang, that's something I need to teach my son." And I was like, "Dang, that's from the 60s," but that hasn't changed. Like how we should raise our kids. If some people feel like it's changed, but I think a lot of those same old lessons would be very valuable to teach our kids.
There's not enough teaching of our children.
Yeah. I agree. This is a different world. This is a tablet world. Hey, watch this tablet. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. In my other part of what I do, I have two part-time jobs that put together one really big job. I am the 911 PET, which is a project education technician for Architects Council of Governments. I'm newly hired. That's what I do. I am to go present to schools and anybody that'll have us, really, right. Because people don't know the connection between Architects Council of Governments and 911. We have outliers all in our region. This big Region 8 goes all the way to Delta and Hopkins and all the way over there. There's little outliers there. So people have 911. There's dispatchers out there. Mm-hmm. People don't think about that. They just think about Texarkana or what's going on. But we help with that. We help with that. And at the same time, you have little children that if they can play with mama's phone at church or at restaurant or whatever, you can darn sure teach them 3 numbers, 911, and to press them if there's a problem, a fire, somebody breaking in the house, some dire emergency, and you can tell them the difference, and that's my job.
Yeah, I just thought about that. I haven't taught my son. He's only 4, but still, that's about time.
It's about time
to start teaching him, hey, 911.
Oh, well,
but we don't have a phone.
Oh, you don't have a phone? Okay, that would be.
We don't have a landline no more.
Wow. Well, gee whiz. But cell phone? You got a cell phone?
I thought about getting a phone for the house, like a cell phone, like for the kids, like not to like give it, but like it to be. Which I mean, I should always be there with my kids. I'm trying to work through this in my head. Right
well,
now.
I understand.
Yeah, I just gotta. But yeah, the 911 lesson's got to happen soon.
It's got to. Yeah, it's got to. Sure. You make sure, and anybody that's listening, if you have children that age and you're wondering, well, what would they do if I fell out on the floor and I was out and I couldn't help myself? That's a biggie. Teach them to be calm when they call 911. You tell them that when 911, what's your emergency? That person's there to help you.
Yeah.
And don't freak out. Just be calm. Hi, my name is Bobby, and I live at 1234 Happy Street, whatever.
Yeah.
And my phone number is 555-1212. If you can get those children to start repeating those, if something really does happen, they're going to save a life. They'll be a hero. They could be your hero.
Yeah, might need that.
And that's really what I'm going to do. I've just started.
Right.
I'm real excited about it.
No, that's awesome because I'm glad you said that. I've had my son at night. We live at blank, 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 blank,
yes.
blank, blank.
Well, it's important they know that, and and tell them that they don't have to tell everybody that in the world.
Yeah,
but if there's a policeman or fireman or ambulance, but you tell them if there's a problem, but you first have to talk to that 911 dispatcher. The more information those kiddo can calmly give, and speak up,
right?
The sooner help is coming.
That is so interesting because I don't know, man. Isn't it crazy that there's not really a manual to be like a parent?
Yeah.
When me and my wife drove home with my son, my son is 4, my daughter's 2, and when we I got little babies.
Oh,
and I did,
so happy.
And we drove home. We put my son in the car for the first time. We went to Wadley, and we strapped him in, and we sat down in the car together, and we looked at each other, and we were like, I remember asking her, I said, they don't even know that we're gonna do good, and they're gonna let us leave. This is crazy. But you go home and you figure it out.
You don't break them.
No, you don't.
You don't break them.
I got scared a couple of times.
Yeah.
They're tougher than they look.
Thank goodness,
Oh my goodness, yeah.
But yeah, you learn and they learn.
Yeah. My son, the first time, I swear, it's probably not even good for me to say this on the internet. The first time he ever rolled, I was not prepared for it. It was the worst situation for it.
Did he roll off of something?
Yeah, he rolled right off the couch for the first time. Never, I swear, y'all can make fun of me, burn me up in the comments, I don't care. My son had not moved, had not rolled, even attempted to swivel or anything hardly.
Seriously.
And the first time I made a mistake and put him on like the edge of it was like the edge of the couch. It had a carpet under it, luckily there, and there was even a blanket there. I was like, oh, thank God. But no, that was the first time he was just like, oh yeah, I do this now. And I was like, and it had to be me on duty. You know how that is. That's a dad. I was like, and he's crying. So I pick him up and she was actually, what's bad is that she went and got in the shower and she was exhausted. You know how it is.
Yes.
He was less than a month old. So I was like, oh my God.
She was worn out and you were supposed to be watching him.
Because I came home from work and I was like, I will be a good dad. I'm going to you go take a shower, honey. You go rest for a second. And then immediately mess up on my watch. But they're tougher. They're tougher than they look. Thank God.
They are. Yeah. So you've gotten him to 4. It's going to be okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the 2-year-old, she's probably running you around the house.
Oh, dude, she's tough.
I bet.
She's tough. She might be tougher than him. She probably is tougher than him at the moment. It's crazy. But she's built different. Like he's skinnier, kind of lanky like I was. He looks like exactly like I did as a kid.
Oh,
she's kind of built like my dad.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
She's a tank, dude. She's like 2.5. She looks 3 or 4 easily, and she crashes out a lot, but she always gets back up. And I don't know. Parenting is the funnest. It's the funnest, scariest thing ever, isn't it?
It is. It really is.
What did you learn most from being a parent?
What I learned, just love, just love, accepting that person for who they are and how they are, no matter.
Right.
No matter. That's your baby, and they're always your baby. It never stops. Gracie is your age.
Yeah.
And she's my baby. She's my girl. Ben is 25, 10 years younger. He's my baby. He's definitely Stuart's too, the husband, because he and Hannah moved out, got their apartment this week, and she's getting ready to teach school and all this stuff. They had been traveling across the country, working for Montana Repertory Company. They were going town to town for a week at a time, all over the country, teaching kind of a 101 of theater to kids, or really anybody. They went to Indian reservations. They went everywhere, Boys and Girls Clubs, schools, all this stuff. And they would stay for a week. And then at the end of the week, that those kids had learned a little something about costuming, makeup, learning lines, running the backstage a little bit, and how to do a show. So they would present the play right there with the props and all that at the end of the week for all the parents and everybody in the little town or whatever. So they did that. And something, it didn't bother me that they were out doing that because I thought, yeah, this is them. This is who they are, and this is what they want to do. But you know what got me? This kid, my kid, the younger one, he moved out on me again, I guess. And he's got an apartment, and something about this feels different. It's like, man, he's grown up.
Yeah.
He's actually grown up. He's not just going from place to place. And he says, well, I guess I'm leaving after you got all this stuff. And he says, I'm going to go now. And his dad is having the worst time of it over there and just kind of holding himself together.
Right.
Because that's dad. And me, I'm like, it's okay, Ben. If something ever happens, you can always come home again. We're right here. And he looked so relieved, so funny to me that, I don't know, it kind of hit me in the feels. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm definitely not ready for all that.
Yeah, that'll get you. That'll get you, but that's a little longer than now. But you'll be surprised how fast this goes.
Oh yeah, my son's about to be 5, and I'm like, how?
Oh yeah,
how does this happen? I'm really worried about him growing up. But I think that's good. Every time I express this to people, they're like, "Oh, that's good. That means you're thinking about it and preparing for it." And that's better than not being worried about it. That would be strange, I think. But
yes, it would.
I don't know, man. Right now, I don't have any older children. It's just the 2, and they're real young, and we had them back to back, and it's just like, I don't know. I think this feels like this is going to be easier than when they're older, because I think it's going to get way more complicated as they get more complicated.
It does. You're right.
Because right now it's real simple. Like, they really like me, and I love that. That's great.
Yeah, there will be a day that everything you do sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, Dad, he's embarrassing. He's, Mom, oh, yeah. It comes. It's about puberty.
Yeah.
You should remember.
Oh, I remember. And one thing I've learned, like the main thing I've learned from having kids so far is that I have like a different understanding of my parents.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, yeah, that I was really wrong there, and they were 100% right. But I didn't realize that in the moment, because it's like, I don't know, like you say, we all do it when we get teenagers. We start thinking we've figured it all out, and we don't know anything at all. But we're like, I've got this figured out. I can do this and do that. And our parents are just like, they're trying their best to do the things for us, and just, I don't know, you almost got to bump your head, and then then I had kids, and then I'm like, oh my God. I even told my dad the other day, I was like, yeah, I'm so sorry, dude.
did you
no idea.
Did you feel like somewhere in your early 20s, my dad, not as dumb as he looks or something like that?
My dad is incredibly smart.
Yes, I know.
He's a tough guy for sure. And he had a tough dad. And it's a different type of raising,
Sure.
We always worked hard. We worked every summer. We, even to this day, he values work is super high on his values of, and that's good. And I used to be so embarrassed of him in high school because he would never dress up. He would always be in his work clothes all the time. Mm-hmm. And I'm really just dumbassness. I was like, oh, my dad's picking me up today. I hope he don't pull up in his raggedy car and his raggedy clothes. But, he has more in his savings than most people at that time. But I didn't realize those things.
That's right.
Because he was really taking care of business and really making sacrifices and making sure our whole family was set up, and that the business that my grandpa started survived, and all this stuff. I didn't see none of that. I was embarrassed because he showed up to pick me up in dirty clothes. And it's just like, you don't get it until you get older and you're like, oh no, he was incredibly smart. And that was super wise of him to not want to spice everything up and be fake, and then us like not have the money or not be able to continue the things that have helped our family for generations now.
Yeah, Joe, the thing is, and I get your dad because we're basically kind of the same generation or close. Mm-hmm. I get him. We were that generation that our parents, after World War II in Korea, they were, first of all, they were so happy to be home. Right. From some god-awful things they had seen in the world, all right, or dads particularly. They were so glad to be back with our moms and whatever. Then we came along, hey, we came along, woohoo. And they were so happy that they could have a house and a play and this and a job, and it could help you with this and do that. And they would tell you, and I've heard it, I don't care if you dig a ditch. I want you to be the best ditch digger there is. And that's your dad's generation, because it's mine too. Right. I have a real strong work ethic. Why do you think I'm still working? Because, well, first of all, I need to. And second of all, I really enjoyed working. I sat for 6 months pretty much around the house. It was awful. It was awful to me.
And you decided that you were done for a little bit and came back, or what? Why did you take a break if you don't mind me asking?
Well, it was
unless it's too personal.
No, that's fine. It was a break I did not want to take. We were talking about AI and changes in broadcasting and so forth, and I was let go. Oh, wow. So, and some others were too. So it wasn't just me, but it felt bad. It really did. I thought, but I'm not ready. Why don't you just go ahead and retire, Fabienne? I can't. I am not ready for that. I can't. So I attempted another job, and that did not work out well. Yeah. And I thought, man, I must be a big old failure. That mindset of be the best ditch digger, that mindset, boy, it about got me. I'm serious. And then when I did get a job, I got 2 jobs. God has a sense of humor, I'm telling you.
Yeah. And that was the way to bounce back. How did the radio come back on the radar? What was that like?
Well, once again, I think he gave me a push. Because I drove by where the pig is now. They're not on College Drive. They're in a newer business in a shopping center on Summerhill Road. Okay. They're a newer spot. Really nice. There's a nice studio, a couple of studios, 3, in fact, inside. There's office space, all of it. It's neat. So I thought, I have not seen this. Just for giggles, I'm going to go in and talk to JW and just say, I want to look around, nosy.
Yeah.
I hadn't breathed radio air, I guess, in a minute, So I walked in, JW says, what are you doing? I said, well, I just kind of want to look around and see this. And then Janelle, who is our sales manager, she came out and we talked, and my mouth started opening. And I said, I missed this, but I have an idea. And I'm going, making funny faces. I have an idea. Okay. I have an idea. I said, maybe if possible, I could be on the air, part-time, what have you, and help you. I said, and maybe I could help you, Janelle, by selling advertising because I don't see you have anyone else around right now. Yes, we are looking for salespeople, by the way. Contact Janelle Williamson. She's good. She's a good boss too. So they said, well, you'll have to talk to the corporate office. Everybody has a corporate office. Ours is in Joplin. And I called my longtime friend who's been there many years. And I said, what do you think? I said, I can't believe I opened my mouth and did this, but I offered, if you are interested, I could be on a midday show, do that, and maybe sell a little advertising. She says, welcome back. When do you want to start? I nearly fell out.
Wow.
Is that crazy?
Yeah.
I was like, oh gosh. I mean, that was that quick. God has a plan and a sense of humor.
I love it.
Yeah. And at the same time, I had done an interview with AtCog and I passed the audition. So
So you got your plate full now.
yeah. But this time I'm telling myself I'm going to be a little smarter, work smarter.
Yeah.
And not beat myself up for some failures. Or if something really doesn't go my way, that just means I'm getting closer to something that will.
Yeah.
That's all you got.
Yeah. I love that. What hours are you on now?
I am on 10 to 3, Monday through Friday.
Nice.
103.9 The Pig.
There you have it. Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to tell the people?
I think I've told it. If you have questions, you better ask Joe because he might know. He might know. If not, he has friends. He knows who to ask. Exactly. He knows my daughter. He'd ask her. Exactly. So, yeah.
Yep, we're right at the hour mark. That's kind of what I was aiming for.
Okay, well, I'm talking horns off Billy Goat. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I did one for 3 hours the other day. But I worked in the sun today, so I have a limit.
Okay, yeah.
But no, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really enjoyed this.
I'm honored you asked. Thank you.
Yeah. We'll do it again. We'll let some time go by.
Really?
And I'll bring you back again. We'll do it another. Yeah.
We'll talk music or something.
Yeah.
We can talk anything.
History too. Yeah.
Since you love history, musical history, I'm pretty good at that. Yeah.
I would love that.
All right.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
Yes.
All right, everybody, you know what it is. JTP Podcast, like, share, subscribe. It's out on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. If you're listening on YouTube, please hit the bell, subscribe. That's going to let you know when new episodes drop. If you're listening on Spotify, please give me a 5-star rating. That'll help push me out and get me seen by more people. Once again, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Joe, for asking.
Yes. And we will be back next week. We love y'all. Y'all be blessed. Hey, if you're enjoying this video and you're watching it on YouTube, please go hit that subscribe button. That will help me out tremendously. Also, if you tap that bell, it's going to let you know when I drop new episodes. Thank you so much for tuning in.